Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to transition now into the importance of your role. Like, why is everything that we just talked about, why is it so important? Why are you so important for the whole business model to work out? So I'm going to bring up Mr. Gamboa again. You're going to take some notes. It's a little bit of a shorter video, but it's going to explain the importance of your role so you can see kind of behind the scenes of how the whole functionality of your position works. So we'll debrief right afterwards. So here's Mr. Gamboa again.
Okay, we're back. Social media recruiting assistants. I want to talk to you in this video about the importance of your role. And it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple, but the reason we're so adamant about who represents our company is because number one, you're directly helping in the team building process of our company. Without you, we wouldn't have more representatives to apply. We wouldn't have more people to put through our Cutco sales training program. And ultimately, we wouldn't have people to pick from to staff our leadership academy and create these great opportunities for people to become 5-star graduates. So number one, you're important because you're a team builder. Number two is because you're providing opportunity for students who might not ever have an opportunity. And I really don't want to take that for granted, or I really don't want you to take that for granted. At 19 years old, I started with the company as a rising sophomore at the University of Maryland College Park. And I really am so thankful to this day to Joanna Poncelinas, who was the individual that provided me with the opportunity when I was recommended to the position. And without Joanna, I wouldn't be here today, almost 2 decades later, doing what I do, loving what I love, and having the opportunity that I have. So don't take for granted that we're providing opportunities for students. And then number three is the first impression. In fact, we're so adamant about first impression, about how the role works, that we take so much time to go through in the interview process. How does our social media recruiting assistant applicant speak on the phone? What does their social media profile look like? How do they present themselves? What's the impression that they're giving off? How professional are they? How fun are they? Are they going to be the type of people that we would want to be the first impression, first contact? You see, as a manager, and we as managers, we don't get a chance to be the first contact. So as someone is reached out by you over the phone because they're recommended, or someone sees your social media post and you post the job opportunity, or if you reach out on your Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook on a direct message, these individuals are looking at you, the social media recruiting assistant, as the impression. So that's why you're really important in the role that you play. And I want to take the time here just to break down how the job works. It's pretty straightforward, but there are two aspects. It's the social media recruiting assistant, and the two aspects are pretty straightforward. It takes multiple people to apply, to go through the interview process for us to get students that actually work with our company. And later on, your manager is going to cover a handout, if they haven't already, on the expectations of the position. Like, how does it work? What's the requirement? What percentage of people when I speak to them over the phone, or what percentage of people when I reach out to them on social media are expected to come in for an interview? And there are really two types of applicants that you want to be concerned with and know. And the first type of applicant is someone who's recommended by a current Cutco sales representative. Every Friday, we have a training program that finishes up for our students, so they start selling Cutco that day. In the middle of that training, what we'll do is we'll provide incentives for them to help recommend people to the job. And it's really simple. We have an app on their phone where they can upload all their contacts, and it goes to a computer system, and those are the people that you would be calling as a social media recruiting assistant. And it's not uncommon for our students to recommend 175, 225, sometimes 300-400 people from their phone. Why? For one main reason. Number one, well, two main reasons. Number one, they're really excited about the opportunity. But number two, we offer incentives. And when I say incentives, I mean things like, on the low end, Yeti cooler cups, if you will, right? Things that keep their beverages warm. When they recommend more people, we have gift certificates for specific stores, shopping sprees, signature experiences. And at the top of the list, when they recommend 8 individuals or more to the team, we're able to provide an all expenses paid 3 days, 2 nights to a tropical destination, which your manager is going to tell you about after this video, which you also have an opportunity to earn. So they're so excited, they have this incentive, and then people always ask, well, why do we offer all these incentives? It's thousands and thousands of dollars in trips and in prizes that we're offering. It's pretty simple. It's because it saves us advertising dollars. For us to advertise on the internet and through social media, it would cost way more money than it does for us to provide trips and exciting prizes for students simply to recommend their friends and family and people that they know. So Want to let you know that those are the individuals that we will be calling. We're going to be providing you in training with a script, and we'll show you how to walk through the script and how to present the information to a student as they come in. Again, these are called outgoing calls, okay? And then the second type of individual that we will be working with are people from your specific social media networks. You know, one of the things that is a prerequisite in bringing on a social media recruiting assistant is someone who has a decent presence and a decent understanding of how social media works. Number of followers. Are they proficient with navigating through? Do they post? Do they understand how to post? Do they know how to reach out to people? And that's one of the second requirements of the position, aside from being friendly and being able to follow a script. So there are two ways that we reach out to these people. Number one is through something called triple threat. And through years of research, we found that the three most common social media forums that get the most applicants and are most successful for us are Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. So what we'll do from on a weekly basis is we will give you content to put up on these three platforms, and then what will happen is anyone that comes in, we'll simply reach out to them and we'll show you how to get them in for an interview, and they will also count for you for the contest. And then number two, we have direct messages, which we'll teach you in a couple weeks on how to reach out to specific people in your network and then offer them the position. And again, our three forms of social media that have really helped us out are Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. And your manager is going to walk through the logistics of how do you post the content, what content to post, and what do you respond to them when people are interested. Okay? So as you go through this position, there are two goals that we have for you. Okay? Actually, three goals. Number one, we want you to gain skills. The skill to be able to speak to people on the phone. The skill of positive, non-manipulative, very convincing, right? Persuasion. How do you persuade someone who thinks they're too busy to apply to come in and check out a job opportunity? How do we communicate clearly directions and how to make people feel comfortable? Number two, we want to help you gain the opportunity to work in our unbelievably fun and professional atmosphere, and you're going to set the tone and be a part of that. And of course, number three, our goal for you, our biggest goal for you is that you transition, whether it's 4 to 6 weeks from now, 6 to 8 weeks, or towards the middle of the summer. We want to help you get your own Cutco through college opportunity to make the income, gain the skills, and build the resume that all of our Cutco sales reps are also building. So those are the really exciting goals that we have for you. Those are the two parts of the job. And then later we're going to transition into expectations and really how to maximize the position.
So to Mr. Gamboa's point, what we want for you is we want you to grow in your position, right? So for a social media recruiting assistant, you get a chance to put on your resume that as a social media recruiting assistant, that you professionally communicated with applicants from point of contact to interview. You recruited over a blank number of students through referral recruitment programs, participate in weekly staff meetings, which we do every week to review recruiting analytics and create action plan, execute a business plan to successfully build a sales team through social media marketing, market a competitive sales position through various social media platforms. And then all the people that you recruit, we add up how much they sold, and that's how much you generated for the team. That's pretty awesome. So we're able to quantify your experience. We're able to quantify your experience. See, when you go in for future job interviews, there's two types of things that they're going to look for. They're going to look for qualities, and they're going to look for quantitative evidence that you can back up those qualities. So when someone says, "Oh, I'm a people person," really? How so? Well, I've done all this stuff versus I've done all this stuff this many times over, right? So they want to see qualitative, but they also want to have quantitative evidence to back up your claim. And that's what we're able to give in your position as a social media recruiting assistant. We back it up with data because we collect all those numbers. As a sales representative, now you add that component when you go through that rotation. You also say you graduated from a 2-day college accredited professional business and sales seminar, professionally communicated with customers from point of contact to close the sale, generated a network over blank number of clients through referrals, participated in weekly meetings to review sales analytics and create action plan, earned blank number of commission pay raises first semester on the job. Like your Gloria, your sister Victoria, I know she's gone through the rotation from SMRA. Now she's transitioned to sales rep. She's already able to put on her resume right now so far generated a network. She has like maybe 100 referrals, something like that, participating in weekly meetings, earned 1 commission pay raise in her first week on the job, sold over $1,000, $1,500 in kitchen cutlery, generated over, no, this is where we're still adding these numbers because that kind of ties into the SMRA position too. So just to kind of make sure you understand, ladies, that your opportunity to build your resume is great, and we want to make it even better through the rotational program. So there's 3 rotations. The first one is the social media recruiting assistant, which is what we're doing right now. After this rotation, so during this rotation, you're the brand ambassador. You're the front line for advertising for us. After this, at some point, whenever the time is right, we'll have the conversation about, let's put you through the sales training. So not only do you know social media marketing, but now you learn how to sell. That's why we're going to have you watch for homework. I'm going to send you the interview, a live recording of the interview, so you know what that position entails, how much it pays, what the schedule's like, what the position offers, what the pay structure is. This opportunity for the sales rep position is very, very lucrative. But in my opinion, I mean, I did it all the way through college. It is the most confident building. It's the confidence building position. It's the building block for self-confidence, is learning how to do sales. So when you learn social media marketing, then you learn sales. Then we have the third rotation of making outgoing calls and mastery of setting appointment setting, receptionists and calls. That is where you really get what we talk about, the triple growth experience, the personal, professional, and financial growth. So you can position yourself to then advance if you wanted to within our company, or be able to advance in other companies because you're a very well-rounded, business skilled individual with social media marketing, selling, as well as phoning and having phone skills. And that's what we want for you. And that's why your homework to watch and listen to that podcast of the Changing Lives podcast, so you can hear a little bit more about the collegiate track, like Mr. Gamboa talked about, and hear a little bit more about the Leadership Academy and graduating with options as a college graduate, which is what we want for you. So we have many success stories. I know a couple of you met Rochelle or know Rochelle, but Rochelle started as a sales rep. She started as a sales rep. And from there, we put her into the rotation from sales rep into PR caller. So she was a caller. So she went from sales rep to caller. Then she went into SMRA, which is where you're at. So she did the rotation a little bit backwards. Then she got promoted to be an SMRA manager. She was running this training and all the interviews for me for about 5 months. She made over 10 grand this summer as an SMRA manager. And then we taught her how to be a coach. So now she's coaching other sales reps. So that way, this next upcoming summer, 1 year later, she's going to be a district manager and get a career position within our company, the BMW, the 6-figure opportunity, the income, the bonuses, the travel, all that. And she went through the full rotation. Another example is Casey. Casey started as an SMRA. She started as an SMRA last spring. She went from SMRA into a sales rep, into a PR caller, the same rotation I just listed off. And then she became an assistant manager this past summer and made over 10 grand this summer as an assistant manager, doing a great job working with us. My favorite example is Olivia. Olivia started as an SMRA. Then she sold Cutco a little bit because she just wanted to learn the sales skills. She started with us at less than 10,000 followers. Check this out. Now she's an influencer with over 2 million followers. So when you learn social media marketing and you take social media marketing along with branding and sales, that's where you can really be an influencer. And that's what she was able to become through her vector marketing experience working with us. So whether it's Rochelle or whether it's Casey or whether it's Olivia or any of the other success stories we have, we want to make sure that you can get the best triple growth experience possible and get that personal, professional, and financial growth. So here's a projected timeline of something that might look like for you. Okay. So we're looking at maybe the first 3 to 5 shifts. We're going to give you 3 to 5 shifts to start. Okay. You get 3 to 5 shifts. From those shifts, you'll have conversations with your manager. How are you feeling with this first part of the rotation? What are you liking? What are you doing well with? Let's look at your data. Let's look at your stats. From there, you have a one-on-one convo, and then we'll evaluate afterwards. And the evaluation will figure out how many hours do we want to give you? What's the schedule we want to offer you? Do we give you a flexibility where you run your own schedule, or do you still hop on Zoom because we need to still give you a little bit more of support? So that's kind of the timeline to start. here's a projected schedule of what it could look like. So right now here we're at December 12th. It's 12 to 3 training. So your first 3 shifts are right here. So your first 3 shifts are Sunday, Monday, and Friday. The reason why is because right in here we have some things going on. Now, if your manager wants to give you a couple extra shifts in between some of that stuff, totally up to them. You could have that conversation. If you have any conflicts with any of these shifts, talk to your manager as soon as possible. So after training, we have 3 to 6, 3 to 6, and then we have your one-on-one. You'll have a one-on-one meeting with your coach, with your manager, to have an evaluation, and then we have our team meeting 6 to 6:30 on Wednesday evening, 6 to 6:30. So 30 minutes. That's with all the other SMRAs, the staff. Get ready for that. It's awesome. Um, Optional, if you wanted to join our holiday party on Thursday, we have our annual holiday party at the office headquarters in Carrollwood at 8:30 p.m. Before that, we're doing a parent meeting. So if your parents are interested in like what you're doing or meeting me or meeting some of the staff, we're doing that at the office and over Zoom. We're streaming it over Zoom. So that's an invitation for them to join as well. Then we have the next 2 shifts, which are going to be the following Sunday and Monday, which is 3 to 6, 3 to 5. So those would be your first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shifts. And then we have our team meeting on the 22nd, 6 to 6:30. And then we go into Christmas, and all the other shifts after that are to be determined. So depending on those conversations, depending on how you're feeling, depending on what's going, the evaluation, your second rotation of going through the sales training could potentially be one of these 3 dates. I think December 15th, 16th might be a little too soon. We don't, I mean, that's literally Tuesday. So I wouldn't say that's going to be an option for you, but December 28th, 29th could be an option, or January 7th, 8th, that could be an option if you wanted to start the second rotation of the sales training. Maybe it's not a good fit for you to start that rotation anytime soon. Maybe it's a good fit to start it sooner than later, but that's between you and your manager that you'll talk about with them what the best timeline is for you. But for right now, that kind of gives you an idea of the timeline and the schedule and the importance of your role for our organization. So let's go ahead and let's come up for some air before we transition to the bonuses, which I'm fired up to go over with you. Tell me questions, comments, thoughts from anything that Mr. Gamboa just talked about, the resume that I just showed you, the rotational program that you just saw. Tell me any big light bulbs, confidence builders, things that you that jumped out for you. Let's go around the horn.